What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Lion's Den with Seth. I'm your host, Seth. Big Herm won't be in this afternoon due to some things he needs to go and take care of, right? Summertime, that man's a grown man, but he will be here next week. Right on, right on. So if this is your first time with the Lion's Den, I want you to understand what we do. All right, we have conversations about leadership, growth, development with action. All right, so it's not just about being behind this mic and having good conversations and having to feel good for today. It's really about holding us accountable, talking to each other, and what is it that we're doing within our household that we can improve on, and ultimately in the community. So if this is your first time in, hit the share button. Stop acting funny style, right? We want to let everybody know that we're in the business and in the building. All right, so happy Sunday to all of you, y'all. We're going to be talking about the reality of resilience. So let's talk about it real quick. What's your definition? All right, everybody that's watching right now, help me out, right? Tune in, chime in, and say what your definition of resilience is. I'm gonna give you this. All right, so here's the definition. Resilience is the capacity to withstand or to recover quickly from difficulties, toughness, right? For example, the remarkable resilience of so many institutions, right? Supporting individuals to overcoming adversity and build resilience. Or our business have shown strong resilience during these unprecedented times. So I want you guys to think about it. What does resilience mean to you? Like for me, ultimately it's like, okay, how many times do you come back from being knocked in your face? You dig what I'm saying? What do you do? What do you learn? Right? How do you arrive? It's not easy, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, with what's going on in the world, and if you really think about it, there's always something going on. What have you learned from that? But I'm very, very excited to have my guest this evening to join us, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Monique Pearson. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about her, just so y'all can get the type of person that we have in here, y'all. She's an outstanding individual, ladies and gentlemen. She's a speaker, coach, and she talks about swole. I'm gonna let her dive into that, but she's also been a contractor. She has a lot of her experience being a contractor with the United States Army. Congratulations, thank you for that. And so she ventured to 23 different countries over a span of 3 years, okay, and living in Iraq for 2, in Kuwait for 1 of those years. So you have to understand the fact that she has vast knowledge and different experiences that can help to articulate what being resilient mean for her. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want y'all to help me give Miss Monique a nice round of applause, y'all. Yeah. How you doing?
I'm good, Seth. Happy to be here. Happy to be here.
Right on. Thank you for being here, ma'am. So, this is what I would like you to do if you can help out and talk to our audience, right? Again, thank you, right, for being here and joining us. But can you start off by sharing with us not only who you are, but your personal definition of resilience?
Okay. Well, I'm going to start off with the definition of resilience because I was listening to you as you were asking who that is. And I'm sure for each person, it's going to differ based off of your life, based off your experiences. And I agree with the part as far as how many times can you take a licking and keep on ticking. That strength that is within you that you have to pull on in times of need. The opportunity, that person that does not quit, that go-getter, that like no matter what, they're going to reach their end goal, to me is my definition of what resilience is. And again, as you already introduced me, my name is Monique Pearson, and I am the founder of Soaring Without Limits Enterprises. I am currently still working for Department of Defense. I am a charity organization owner, just a woman who believes that we are not capped or limited into exploring all of our God-given gifts, talents, and abilities. Just to summarize real quick what it is that I do and interests that I have.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Well, thank you for that. Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, those that's watching right now, say hello, hello, hello. Right? Let us know where you're at and where you're listening from. We will appreciate that. So here you go. Got a question for you, ma'am. So can you share an experience where your resilience was put to the test? I know for me, waking up every day and thinking about the things that I got to do. And somehow, sometimes I can just imagine individuals. I feel like slapping, you see, but it takes resilience, right? It takes that to not only push through, but to hold tight and not do that. So if you don't mind sharing your experiences and how did you handle that?
One of the ones that's jumping out to me, I think, was serving as a contractor in Iraq in the heat of the Iraqi war. And pretty much every single day you can be taken out because we are being attacked every single day. My background is ammunition and weapons. So I worked at the ammunition supply point and we were supplying the soldiers all the ammunition over there. So their objective was to make sure we didn't have that to be able to fight that war. So every single day being in a deadly situation and still being able to get up and do your job. And for me, that was 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, 84-hour days. So being able to continue to do that for 2 years, to me was, I think, the ultimate form of resilience that I've ever had to experience for myself.
All right, I hear you. I hear you, and I appreciate that. What's going on, ma'am? What's up, fellow Detroiter out there? So here, I want to throw this at you, right? Because many people believe that resilience is a trait that people are born with, right? Just because, for example, I'm from Detroit, or you may be, from Philly, and people from North or South, no matter what, people think that you're supposed to just innately have a level of resilience, inside of them. So do you agree with that? Or do you think that is something that can be developed?
I think it can be both. I think you really don't know what you have inside of you until you're tested. Like, that's not something that you come into the world, but like, I'm a resilient person. Like, you really don't know how resilient you are until you're tried, you're tested. And then I think once you see yourself being able to come over something, at least one thing that you didn't think you could have before, that builds up your resiliency. So I believe it can be grown.
Yes, I do agree. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, what y'all think, right? Do you think that just because of the, I would say, the environment, is it the nature, is it the nurture, right? Do you think that you're just born with it? Or to her point, do you think that it's the things that you go through? Because keep this in mind, this is people that's going through mess every day and don't get it. You get what I'm saying? They don't get it. And they may say they want to do something, or they may say it's things that they don't want, but they don't push through it to come back harder. So no, that makes a lot of sense. Makes a
Mm-hmm.
lot of sense. Okay. Well, look, so I mean, you answered that, and that makes sense to me. And hopefully this can make sense to everybody else out there. But so I want you to tell us a little bit about the swole, what that means, and what strategies or techniques have you found to be the most effective, right, in building and maintaining resilience.
Okay, so SWOLE, that acronym stands for Soaring Without Limits Enterprises. And it started, actually, I was inspired during the pandemic. Like, so many people kicked off businesses during that time frame because we had time to think, we had time to reflect. And for me, it was a matter of assessing my life and feeling like I wasn't making the most of what makes me happy and my God-given talents. And for me, that's traveling. And I was like, I'm not doing this to the capacity that I would like to do it. And not just for myself anymore, but be able to show, in this case, who my target market is, other women, other ladies, how they can travel the world and be able to do so safely and with confidence, and to empower them, especially for those who have never had a passport, who've never been outside the country, to give them that knowledge, those skills that I learned after 25 plus years of traveling, and be able to share that. And also not just about being traveling, but pretty much showing them, as you were speaking to resilience, that you're capable of doing things you may not have never imagined or seen yourself doing, and giving them that empowerment, that encouragement to be able to do so. So that is where that stemmed from, and the beginning of the business.
So I had the great opportunity while being in the military to do a lot of traveling, seeing a lot of different things, and meeting a lot of people. So out of all the places that you've been, what was one place that you went to that you will always remember?
Ooh, I would have to say, so far right now, Bali. Bali is the one that, yes.
Why
Oh
Bali?
my
Why
gosh.
Bali?
Yes. I just think out of all the places, all the countries that I've been to, I have never recalled stepping off the plane and just feeling a sense of peace invoke me. Like, straight out the gate is what I remember. My first memory once I touched ground. Like, I've never experienced this in all of my years. That feeling of peace. Normally, as excitement, as adventures, whatever, I just felt that peace. So for right now, that one is still standing strong as my number one.
You say Bali?
Bali.
Hey,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen, check this out. This is what we're gonna do. I want y'all to put in, those that's watching, put in hashtag Bali 2024. You understand what I'm saying? 2024. We need some peace in our life. Can you dig it? Listen,
Yes. Tell them. Tell them.
there's so many things going on right now that you feel like you just have to go through. And you know the crazy thing is, Monique, I really do believe that individuals struggle based off of not only where they from, but they feel as though they have to. Like, you don't have to do that. You have to realize where you are and say, okay, I'm willing to push through this to get to another place, not to deal with it. What do you think about that? Do you think individuals are surrounding themselves willingly with things or situations that's contradictory to what they say they want?
Of course, I think we do that all the time, even myself included. I can't exclude myself from that because I think sometimes we give the power of our lives and the direction of our path to external circumstances where we are the orchestrators of our life. You have control of making a change or making a shift where you're not satisfied, where you're not happy. It's a matter of you owning that you have that power. And I think a lot of people feel as if they don't have the power of rechanging or redirecting the path or trajectory of the life that they're currently living or their circumstances. Like I feel as if sometimes we may be caught up as feeling as victims.
You know what? I love that. Now, let me ask you this. Why do you think that is? Why do you think individuals feel inadequate or have this feeling of not being able to move forward? I believe it may be fear, right? It may be their ego. They don't want to try and fail, and individuals see that it doesn't work for them. Like, why do you think individuals don't push through to get
I can agree with that. I think far as fear, rejection, or one, you've never seen it illustrated or have a life illustration of what you're doing. So if you've never seen it, you can't see yourself achieving it because this is all you know. This is all you've seen. So I think it's very important to the circle that you keep and expanding outside of your little bullseye and getting exposed to places or things or people who are where you would like to be. Like that's like vast important.
Ain't it?
Yes.
Ain't it? And but you know, it's so funny to me that individuals know this, but they don't do this. Right. So it's the exposure, being able to get outside of that comfort zone. Hold on, I'm gonna go back to that in a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, we here with Miss Monique Pearson. Y'all, we talking about being resilient and the reality behind it. Okay. Yes. Okay. And ladies and gentlemen, we just touched on very briefly about getting out of certain situations that we're currently in. But I do believe it's about the mindset, right? And she just hit on something that said it's your surrounding and not being exposed, not having that experience, not being around individuals that have persevered. So I may not think it's for me, right on? I may not think I can because no one around me is doing. So what does that mean, ladies and gentlemen? Do that mean you need to change your surrounding a little bit? What you think, Monique?
I think you can enhance your circle. Sometimes you may not be able to get outside where you are, but you can bring in somebody who is outside of where you are and they can take you by the hand and show you, you know what, this is this, but you can also have this over here. So that's mentorship. That's asking or seeking those mentors, those people, again, where you are, where you want to be. I think far as we have so many resources now these days that we can tap into, like for those who vastly have an interest and a desire and a willing spirit to be able to do more, see more, you can have more.
Yes, absolutely. And then another piece of that is this. Keep this in mind. There's individuals in your circle right now that is willing, but you don't want to hear them. For example, back in the day, y'all, they used to say something in the 90s. Watch this, about to show my age. They used to say, but you don't hear me though. You remember that?
All the songs used to be hitting that all the time. Yeah.
You don't hear me though, right? So you ain't listening. It's people out there, ladies and gentlemen, right now that's living the best life for them. But, and here's the thing, it's not about doing what other people are doing. Don't misconstrue that it's being the best version of yourself. So what I'm saying is that in order to truly exercise resilience, you are being tested. That's one thing. We're going to be tested no matter what. Okay. But what do you do with the test? It's not about passing the test. It's about learning from the test in order to keep on going right on. That's what the whole dynamic of being resilient is about. What you think about that, Monique?
Well, what's coming to me was that I think a lot of people don't try. You mentioned this early because of failure, but instead of seeing it as a failure, you can take that as a lesson learned for the next time you run that back. you're not going to make that mistake. So each time, that's the same thing as practicing. When you play sports, you're going to keep making mistakes. You may not get that jumper right. You may not get that fade away. And I don't know all the football terms, but y'all know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Until you keep running that play over and over to perfection. It's the same thing with life.
That's right. That's right. No, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. And it's just unfortunate that sometimes because of our limited belief in ourselves or the individuals that surround us, we can't get it in. Satch, what's going on? Satch says some people don't know what resilience look like. Absolutely. And hey, but dig this, Satch. Sometimes it's in the things we do, right? Because we have individuals that's watching us, right? But then we don't even exercise it well at all, right? In front of them. So no, you're absolutely right. Some people don't know what it look like, but then I believe that we don't realize how powerful we are.
Yes, I think we sell ourselves too short.
Yeah.
Too short.
Yeah, you sell yourself too short, right? Because if you're not pushing yourself, you're not able to be a witness, you see? And people won't be able to witness what resilience could be. You know what I'm saying?
I think that also plays in too far as being willing to come out of your comfort zone.
Ooh.
I think that ties in real strong with resilience, because as long as you're comfortable, you're going to coast.
Come on.
And I think really until you get out of your comfort zone and stretch yourself, you will also, that plays into resilience. Doesn't necessarily always have to be negative. Can also, I think, could be seen in a powerful way too, that you're willing to get outside of your box to be able to see what other arenas you may be able to cross over into.
Hey, now see, we going somewhere, but ladies and gentlemen, before we go there, ladies and gentlemen, I want y'all to hit this share button. I see some folks watching. I appreciate it. Hit the share button. Stop acting funny, right? Because we're probably talking about you or your mama. You dig what I'm saying? Or your friends or somebody else. They need to hear this. You understand? They got all this other mess going on, but you can give them this, okay? Getting out your comfort zone. Being able to break out of your norm in order to develop into a newer thing. It's so funny, Monique. Have you ever heard of the saying? I know you have, and I'm just being facetious. You ever heard that whole new year, new me?
Yes, I don't think you got to wait till January 1st.
Hey,
you can do that any day.
Come on, hey. But see, look, this what it is. There's been some new year, new me folk, and they don't realize we're in the 8th month. So when that's happening, you know what I'm saying? Wait,
right.
Working. But again, and ladies and gentlemen, I understand everybody's situation is different, right? Not poking fun at that. But what I'm doing is trying to highlight what it takes to be resilient. Resilient is being able to overcome, right? But overcome takes what? Work. You know, it ain't easy. It's no, listen, I have never seen an individual fall on top of a hill. You don't roll up the hill, you know, like they die. You grinding, right? You're falling, you're stretching, and everything like that. So, Monique, do you feel as though individuals don't exercise resilience because of the pressure or the fact that, or like you said, the exposure, or do you think it's something deeper? And ladies and gentlemen, y'all chime in. What y'all think? Why do you think people don't exercise resilience outside of not knowing what it look like? Because it comes from inside, believe it or not.
Well, self-belief, self-esteem issues, I believe that definitely can play a role in that. Not feeling like you can get but so far. Like, I think it's a lot of this, as you said from the get-go, is mindset. Where your mindset is, if you can't see it, then you can't achieve it.
Come on.
So a lot of people may not be able to see that for themselves. So there is that mental barrier, which is going to translate over to a physical one.
Yes.
You're only going to be able to get so far because you're stopping yourself before you even get started. And I believe our mind is going to obey whatever commands we give it. So if you're telling yourself that you can't do it, that you can't go there, that you can't this, that's what you're going to do. You're not going to do it.
Hey, ain't that what happens? But see, ladies and gentlemen, it's so funny because the only person that can achieve the things that you can achieve is you.
Yeah.
Seriously, like you can see people trying it, but you will never get the full exposure of it. And so now we're going to switch to something as far as what situations can propel you to do. For example, when my mother passed away, the hardest part of my life, time in my life, bar none. Seriously, okay. And but what it did was it did not slow me down based off of the desired results that I wanted for my life. It actually propelled me because I felt as though anything that I didn't do was blatant disrespect to not only her, but the prayers that she had over me. You dig? So now I feel like it's a responsibility. Look, my mama said I can do this when I
Right.
was this big. Now I'm here and she's not here. What excuse do I have? Because she gave me all the tools that I need. So Monique, I want to ask you, can you tell us about a time or talk about a time when being resilient led to a surprising or unexpected outcome in your life?
I would say recently, starting this business. And that's why I said I can speak to that self-limitation, that negative self-talk, because I would say 5 years ago, I would have never thought it was possible to be an entrepreneur. Like I didn't think that was a skill or a capability that I possess. So when that was brought to me, to my spirit, that, okay, start this business, start this charity organization, I was like, who's supposed to be doing this? Not me. So it was a lot of self-doubt. There was a lot of limitation there, but I proceeded forward, even though I was battling myself and what I thought I could not or could not do, doing it afraid, and doing that one step, or taking that one step afraid and seeing like, oh, I could do this. That helped continue to keep walking and keep challenging myself, because if I can do this one thing when I thought I couldn't, that means it's possible that I can do others. So for me, I think the most recent thing was starting that business. And then that just led to other things that I've never done before. I've never done public speaking. I never did podcasts. I never did summits. I never wrote a book. I wrote 2 books. So it just kept pushing me to be able to show that I am capable of so much more if I would allow myself to operate beyond my fear.
And beyond your beliefs. You know what, y'all? This is a song. I don't listen to a lot of gospel. Sometimes something catch my ear, right? And you said something earlier that I might want to touch on. There's times when, ladies and gentlemen, we block our own blessings. You dig? We block our own. Check it out. We had everything we need to be successful, for real, like in our pockets, in our intellectual property, in our heads, in our hearts, right? But what happens is we cannot benefit from those things because of what? And she said it, Miss Tompkins. She says, resilience takes great self-esteem. Absolutely. You got to believe in it. Check it out. What they say, that song said, this blessing got your name on it.
You taking it back.
Hey, with your name on it. But the deal is that you got to believe it. You understand what I'm saying? You can't just say what you want, but not go after what's yours. Hold on, let me say it again for those all the way over there. Hey, you can't say what you want if you won't go after what's yours. You got to believe it's yours, don't you?
Or at least try to claim it. I'm about to say, sometimes they say fake it till you make it. You continue to do it until you get it.
See, until you get it. And he says, when they don't see people successfully navigate those experiences, they don't want to try. You're absolutely right. And there's some people like that, right? You have some individuals. So here, I'm outside of St. Louis, right? There's some show me people.
Right. But you know what? There always has to be a first. And maybe you were called to be the first to show to others that they can. So that was what I would say to that.
Absolutely. And then he says, but even when you do, the peanut gallery is boxing you in. And now that is a different conversation. We'll touch on that in a minute. But when it talks about, when we're just talking about the fact that individuals don't want to try, you know what I believe, Satch, and anybody that's leaving out listening right now, they ain't ready. Listen, not everybody wake up to the same alarm clock. Can you dig it? They ain't ready. So, but that doesn't mean you stop. All right. That doesn't mean you stop. So now look, Miss Monique, Satcher, he said something, right, that I want to get your input on. He says, but even when you do, the peanut gallery is boxing you in. So that's those individuals that's watching. You get what I'm saying? But they are in a way creating a limited belief about you in your own circle. So pick up what I'm about to put down. How do you continue to persevere and do the things that you need to do when you have individuals that's close to you talking this mess? So sometimes it's not you and your limited belief, it's individuals that's close to you and their limited belief of you.
I think that's when it's important to who you attach yourself to. And if those ones are not believing in you and they're not feeding you to get you and can support you, then you're going to have to find a new crew, a new circle. And I think that's when it comes into play far as in those who are like-minded, other people who are on the same journey, same path. That person you can have as accountability partner, reinforcement partner, when you having those moments when you are doubting yourself, putting yourself down, somebody that's important, and coming back to who are you surrounding yourself with? Are you having someone who is feeding you, or you had a parasite who's taken from you? And sometimes that can be your family and that could be your friends. I'm safe to say we can't have control over who we are connected to by blood, but we do have control of who we are connected to by heart, who are we connected to by vision, and who are we connected to by purpose. So that's where you make those connections.
See, I like that. Ladies and gentlemen, she said something I'm going to jazz up a little bit, right? You got to watch yourself, right? You got people that is feeding you or feeding off you. Oh, shut your mouth. Look, check it out. What do you plan on getting? What do you plan on developing if you do not set those standards or create those boundaries? And with having individuals that's around you that's speaking negative in your life and or draining you. You understand what I'm saying? Or
I love them from a distance.
Hey,
some distance in there. You have to. That is setting your boundaries. I mean, that's protecting your peace. You have no choice.
Yeah, and then on top of that, look, it'll drive you crazy. You understand? Especially if your vision, first of all, is already yours. And there's things that you may see for yourself that not everybody can see. Hey, it's your business or whatever. But they already think you crazy. All right. They don't believe in you. But the deal is, ladies and gentlemen, know how to maneuver and navigate around the naysayers. You see what I'm saying? Because if you think about it, going back to the last point, sometimes those naysayers are propellers for you.
And you know what was coming to me as far as people want to see you successful as long as you're not more successful than them. So that's my point. As far as your drive, your goals, your focus can't be on what other people are thinking of you, because we're never going to be able to satisfy the masses. And as you said, your vision is connecting what God gave to you. And that wasn't a conference call. So all those other people's opinions are irrelevant.
Hey, it wasn't a conference call. Check it out. This wasn't three-way. Hey, I ain't click over. Stop ear hustling. Ain't none of your it ain't none of your business for real. Now listen, be glad that I'm telling you about it just because I love you. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not asking you. Hey, I'm not asking you about this because this is a AB conversation. And just because you're on the party line for them Thundercats, just because you're on this party line don't mean it's none of your business. You know what I'm saying? You can listen, but you keep your mouth shut. So check it out. She says, the line in the sand is what I call it. This is what I call it. The line in cement. You know why? You put it in sand, anything can dust over it.
Oh, it blow away too. That's true.
Go away. Look, people walk over it, right? They tiptoe over it. You know what I mean? And then what you got to do? You got to keep establishing it. However, you put it in cement, you protect it, and you watch. Can't nobody cross that motor scooter. You understand what I'm saying? Not your mama, not your dogs, not anybody down the street. Can't nobody cross over that. But the deal is this. It's not for you to move it.
Yeah, that's why I think concessions. And I think a lot of time we trying to keep people happy. Again, it's always playing to you sabotaging yourself. So there's going to be nothing less. That's what I think it really boils down to. You sabotaging yourself.
Sabotaging yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here talking about the reality of being resilient. My goodness, what are you doing? How are you keeping people in your circle that's pushing you away or pushing you toward it or away from your desired result? And how do you push past them? And ladies and gentlemen, sometimes you have to push past them, go over them, go around them, even under them. And listen, sometimes you got to go through them. Understand? Sometimes you got to go through them because they don't understand that they are a hindrance to whatever it is that you're trying to do in your life.
Yes,
Understand? Yes, ma'am. Yes, AB conversation is see your way out. You dig? Listen, my definiteness of purpose did not have a comma or a semicolon including you in it. You see, but I have to be able to hold myself accountable. And that's what we're talking about, right? Keeping that boundary around your dreams and keeping the right individuals in. It's not like a prison, but it's keeping the right individuals in and separating yourself from those individuals that's contradictory. They give contradiction to where you're trying to go.
Yes,
so here's something else. How about this? How has your understanding and practice of resilience evolved over time? And ladies and gentlemen, this is a good question because I want y'all to consider it too. Think about where you are today and where you were 10 years from now. Are you approaching things the same way when adversity comes your way? So, Miss Monique, what about you? How has resilience evolved over the years?
One, being self-aware. I think I know now what my triggers are. If I'm emotionally attached to a situation that I can't look at it logically, and the power of patience. That probably is still a work in progress, I'm be honest. But it's so much further than where I was before. And I think far as when you're in the midst of a storm, and that is when resilience comes into play, that you know that this storm is just a moment. It's not going to be a lifetime situation. And to be able to hold strong and hold fast until you can see your way out of the eye into the breakthrough. And I think that comes, of course, I think with time and experience to be able to see that every single fire is not going to take out the entire forest. That sometimes you can put those fires out by not, one, being so emotionally distraught, or when stuff doesn't go your way, to just like go crazy. Like just know that, okay, this is a moment. I'm going to get past this. I've done this before. I can do it again. So that would be, I would say, far as perspective that has changed in 10 years for me when it comes to resilience.
You know what? I love what you're saying. And I want to touch on that a little bit. You said that you're talking about the fires, right? And they don't burn everything. And what I thought about at that time was, as I've grown and experienced, well, let me say not grown, just got older, if you will. But I realized that not every fire is extinguished the same.
That's good. That's good right there.
Check it out, ladies and gentlemen. You can't put every fire out the same. Now, hey, some things don't take water. You understand? Not everything just take, you know what I'm talking about? You just can't suffocate all fires. But that's one thing I learned. The other thing too, when it comes down to resilience, how my resilience has changed was being able to realize that I can't take everything personal. Because what happens is when you feel as though individuals that tell you things that's opposite of what you think about yourself, you can stop. Meaning you can become frustrated, or you can lash out, and then now what you may be doing is indirectly burning a new bridge because you took something so personal. You dig? So, and I want to give a big shout out to Dr. Jeff Williams. I was at his establishment at his church a couple of days. Actually, no, it was yesterday, and we was talking about these things. As far as being resilient, essentially, what are the things that really upset you, but how do you maneuver around it? Or how do you respond to it? So think about it. And Monique, I want you to think about this too, as far as the things that have come your way. How do you respond to those things now? You did. Yeah.
I would say I'm going to be transparent. I'm still a work in progress when it comes to me having an expectation of how I see something is supposed to play out. And then it don't play out the way that I think. That frustration that I get, I be having my little meltdowns. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie.
What happened? So when you go somewhere,
I just vent, like just go off, like really pretty much. I got to get it out my system and vent and be caught up in the moment. Like, okay, like not coming up with a plan, not just sitting back like, okay, giving God a space to move.
Come on.
Sometimes I be trying to play God virtual assistant, and no matter how many times he
Oh.
fired me, I keep trying to get back in the role, you know. So I think that's also a thing as far as learning how to operate by faith and leaving room for things to maybe possibly turn out in a whole new direction. Not saying that can work in your favor and not be so rigid.
Yes.
In your expectations.
Wow. Y'all, how many of y'all, check it out, put hashtag me, okay? How many of y'all think y'all guys personal assistant? You did? You got control problems. I said it. Nah, you can't whoop me. Check it out. You got control problems. And no, real talk, because I believe that there's sometimes when we do have those, we don't know about the difference at times as far as expectations and acceptance. You dig? Look, check it out. See, keeping it real. I see.
Yes, come on, Tim.
Keep it real. You know what I mean? Listen, yo, we be trying to run things and thinking, look, God wants you to do this. Shut up. Shut up. Sit down. You dig what I'm saying? Now, seriously, because if it's about faith and your natural talent, skills, and abilities, sometimes you got to get out of it all.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, so y'all, check it out. There's times, and let me know what you think about this, Monique. There's times when being resilient is just being still.
I think that's when you find your direction. Sometimes you have to be still to know how you're supposed to handle that direction so you can hear from him. If you're busy moving, shaking that, you're not going to be able to hear nothing.
You ain't hearing nothing. You're doing too much. Hey, you're running off at the mouth talking about what you want people to do and just praying. You get what I'm saying? But if you listen, you will see what's really going on.
That's why I said, or you're going to come up with your own plan and tell God to co-sign on your plan.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the reality of being resilient, right? With Miss Monique in the building. Hey. All right. And I mean, seriously though, ladies and gentlemen, this is some real conversation, because every day we are going to be tested. Every day we talk about what resilience look like, but we don't talk about the reality behind it. It ain't easy. It is not easy. It's not supposed to be easy, right? Now, don't get me wrong. Some people look good doing it, you dig? Right. But it's not easy. Every day is a struggle, y'all. Every day is a reminder of your abilities. Every day is a reminder of your capabilities. It's just not easy. So I want to say shout out to everybody that's watching right now. What's going on, everybody? How you doing, Miss Karen? What's going on over there, y'all? But so let's talk about this real quick. What do you think the biggest misconception of people often have about being resilient? And then you share yours and I'll share mine. What you think?
The biggest misconception of being resilient, that there isn't a cost to pay. Like, I think a lot of people may see you on the other side once you made it through that trial and not seeing what took for you to get there. That, as you said, you just alluded to it, that some people make things look easy. So we think that it wasn't hard for them, but we don't know their whole story. That's the whole thing. I think we look at them making it to the other side, but we're not seeing all the trenches, all the falls, all the slips that they went through. We can't just assess them making it on the other side. We have to take into account their whole journey that they had to take to get there.
Check it out. What they say, if I look like what I've been through.
There you go.
Listen, y'all, let me tell you something. You're talking about a funny looking character. I'll be so out of line right now. I don't know how I'm saying. It got to be by the grace, you dig? Because there's a lot going on, but it's there for a reason. And I do believe that, right? I do believe that. And along those lines, as far as that misconception, the other thing is I believe it's part of how we started off the conversation, thinking that it's naturally in you. No, like, you have to really go through these things in order to be resilient. You just don't wake up or be born, come out, let me get this afterbirth off of me, and now I'm just resilient. No, you got to go through some mess. You really got to go through some mess. And guess what? You're still going to go through some mess. But ultimately, it's about going through it with grace, but with wisdom. With wisdom. Yo, David says, when they didn't, all the scars, they came from jumping in faith. Yes, no, absolutely. No, absolutely right. That's right. So that's what I believe. That's what I believe. And ladies and gentlemen, what else y'all believe? What do y'all think that misconception is as far as being resilient? Now you didn't serve in the military. You worked with them.
No, I served in the military. I joined straight out of high school. I did
Okay.
8.5 years, and then I started contracting after that.
Okay, got it. Copy that. So do you believe that some people equate positions or rank with resilience? Like, because you have made it this place in your life that you had to have went through some things. For example, in the Air Force, you have different rank structures. You have the airmen, the NCO, right? And then the non-commissioned officer, all like the DOD, but we have chief master sergeants, or we have senior leaders that are in a position, and it seems as though that they have been through the trials and tribulations. Everyone has been through those trials and tribulations, right? And sometimes there's a misconception that you're relatable, or that they are relatable to you, right? Or with you because of something that you're going through. Have you ever been in a situation where you thought someone could have or should have or possibly experienced what you have, but they didn't and didn't know how to help you out?
I think sometimes you're going to have that. Not everyone is going to have your walk or have your assignment. So you may not have someone who has walked that, but I think going back to your point, your question about saying those who are of higher position or whatever, do they have innate experiences? I think that would go hand in hand, because too much is given, much is required. And typically the higher you go, whether that be a promotion, whether that be a job, whether that be a business, you're taking on more responsibility, which to me means you're going to probably face more adversity versus someone whose only job, whose only mission is me, myself, and I.
Yes.
That is my thought process, I think, behind that the more responsibility you have, the more adversity you have, more money, more problems. It's all coming to me in that lane, in that concept.
No, I agree. No, I love that. So how about this? In what ways have being resilient shaped your career and personal life? Now, you touched on it a little bit, right? As far as being able to do certain things that you haven't done before, but that's pushed you to where you are now. But how has it shaped your thought process to move forward?
That there's nothing that I can't do. That's what that means. To me, it put in that spirit like of, I know I'm gonna get it, because I kept proving to myself over and over again that I can achieve whatever it is that I want. Even those things I didn't initially think I can, it just made me stronger. So that's why I think a lot of our times we sell ourselves short of showing ourselves our true strength and fortitude, because we won't go past those barriers.
That's right. That's right. And I love that. Ladies and gentlemen, how many times? Hey, watch this. Do you remember? Do you remember the time? Look, for real. For real.
You mess with all the classics, ain't you?
I got to. You know, Ed is baby a little crazy. But I'm serious though. Do you remember the time? What I mean by that is, how many times have you been through things and then you have seen what you were able to do, but you don't go back and say, damn, that's right, I did do that.
That's why I said, you gotta run back your own playbook, like go back to your own highlights.
Come on.
I think a lot of times we do that, like we forget, like you did this before, girl. You better go ahead and you better act like you know. Do you not remember your name? But put some respect on it. Go back and run back your reel.
Put some respect on my name. Hey, listen, and I hate to do it. Yes, you got to run it back. And listen. If Mufasa told Simba, remember who you are, when do you remember who you are? Damn it, I'm going to ding myself. Do you remember who you are? That's what I'm talking about. Dig this. Everything, I believe, this is just me and my little mind, my little pea brain. I believe everything that comes to us is a reminder of our capabilities. But the things that got us here is not going to get us there.
There's that part.
So you did that. Cool, right? Now you go spend time trying to dust off that trophy. You get what I'm saying? Hey, the game has changed, brother. The game has changed, but you've won a championship there. But the marathon continues. So my question to you is, how can individuals remember who they are to implement that same type of that zeal to push them to the next level? What do you recommend?
I think far as you continue to grow, so does those who you surround yourself with. We can't be the NBA champion of our circle. Somebody has to outrank us. Somebody has to outachieve us so that we can continue to aspire and continue to climb and expose ourselves to new tactics, new plans, new strategies. So we won't get caught in that rut of continuing to do the same thing that served us before, but it's no longer serving us.
I'm writing something down. Check it out, because I did not want to forget it. I don't think I would, because I'm going to say this again, and it might be a show about this. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask all of y'all, let me know with the yes or no, is your circle challenging you to be better? Like, is your circle conducive to the resilience that you need? You get what I'm saying? Because they see the things that you're going through and they're helping you along, or not. Maybe they're keeping you where you are. And then, is the relationship mutual? Is a hashtag reciprocity? You dig what I'm saying?
Can I add something to that? This my mentor kicks this all the time. Where there is no reciprocity, there is no honor.
Hey.
So I think we have Dr. Vicky. I got to shout her out for that one.
Yes.
And a lot of us are connected to dead ends.
Yeah. Ooh. Wait a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say it one more time because maybe my mic is clearer. She said a lot of us are what?
Connected to dead ends.
Connected to dead ends. You know what? I felt that's way down in the depth of my soul. And a lot of us are like that. What you say, Satch, says becoming the average of the 5 people around you. Absolutely. But that's the deal. And hey, check it out, y'all. Sometimes, like she's saying, and taking this another step, sometimes we have misguided loyalty. Meaning that relationship is no longer conducive. We had a show last week, and our guest, and shout out to her, she did an outstanding job. But oh shoot, excuse me. But no, she said that some relationships does have expiration dates on it. And I want y'all to think about this. How many things are you, or how many relationships or situationships, if you will, you're keeping, right? When the things that you want, you don't have room. Look, like if I wanted a new book up here, right? If I wanted a new book that's going to help take me to the next level, I need to decide which one of these gots to go. You understand? What have I mastered already? Not saying mastering people, ladies and gentlemen. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is being able to compartmentalize individuals. One of these books can go over there. Over there.
A reason, a season, or a lifetime. And I think some people may be there for just to teach you that point, that lesson. Everyone may not be following or with you all the way through your journey. They may serve just one purpose.
Yes.
Once that's served, that may be the end of that.
That's right. That's right. Yes, Miss Annette Morrison, she was on last week. But yeah, that's the deal. But at the same time, again, if we're not surrounded by individuals that can challenge us and that to give us the desire to help or to fuel us,
right?
Because ladies and gentlemen, we are communal people. We are communal people. Like, we want to be around people. Like, we want to be liked. But the lack of challenge is an issue. I promise you. Look, there was a study that was done with what was it, 2 or 3 bees, okay, in space. All right. Do you know the life expectancy of a bee in space is cut down dramatically because they don't have to move their wings as much as they do on Earth in order to go from place to place? Because the lack of resistance, they can just move and do whatever they got to go. Do whatever they got to do. So think about this. There's some things that's inside of us, y'all. We need that grind. We need that pressure. We need that resistance in order to build that resilience.
What's coming to mind in my spirit there? So that's atrophy. What we don't use, we lose.
You lose.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Go ahead. What's your thoughts? Going up in there. What you got? Go ahead, Miss Monique.
Oh, I was just thinking, as far as what you were saying, as far as how they were just coasting.
Oh yeah.
because they weren't challenged anymore. There, as you said, no resistance. And then, far as how we get to a diamond, it comes with pressure.
Come on.
Until you put that pressure on it and that resistance, you're not going to get that precious stone. You're going to just be stuck with a lump of dirt.
Hey.
So you are not putting yourself, by not challenging yourself, you're not being able to mold that piece of clay, that piece of sand, that dirt to which we came in to be that masterpiece of who you called to be. That's all that was running through my mind.
See how that happens? Ain't that nice? Ladies and gentlemen, that's what we're talking about, right? So please not only evaluate your thought process, evaluate your circle. You dig what I'm saying? Because there's some individuals that's out there that I know they can be better. You can be better. We can be better. I can be better. You dig? But then not only do I look inside, I look around me, because the things that's around you, ladies and gentlemen, is a representation of those that is within you. All right. I'm a true believer in that. So Miss Monique, how do you balance? All right. How do you balance the need for resilience and with the need of self-care and mental health preservation? And the reason why I say that is because there's something called compassion fatigue, right? With other people, but also ourselves. And so sometimes we talk ourselves out of different situations that we know is better for us, but it's harder. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's going to, we can find so many ways. And ladies and gentlemen, y'all chime in if you know what I'm talking about. We can find more excuses to avoid the pain. Hey, look, hey, watch this. Before we even get out the bed, this maybe it's just me. Raise your hand if it's y'all too. But maybe it's just me. Before I get out the bed, I'm thinking of 11 reasons why I can stay in the bed. So, but I know damn well I got things to do every day. Every day I know I got something to do. But every day I say, wait a minute, maybe I ain't got to do it today. But then the other side say, fool, you know you got to do it today. So I'm asking you, how do you balance that? The resilience, but then also taking care of yourself, right? Your self-care. Because there's sometimes, real talk, I have to say I need to rest.
That's what I was going to get to. I was on the other side of the spectrum that I felt guilty for rest, like that was slacking. So for me, being a person who always felt like I need to be doing, I need to be going, that's how I used to be, that I felt by taking that rest was me selling myself short. And I just had to come to the point with growth that it came to see, once I allowed myself to have that work-life balance, that I actually was more productive by taking that moment of rest and not feeling guilty for it, which will allow me to continue to accomplish what I wanted to accomplish in the first place, what may have taken me longer and may not have done as well because you're burning yourself out. So there has to be some type of work-life balance and being able to pour into yourself first, because everybody else is supposed to get the overflow, not from your cup.
Hey.
So the more you continue to grow, the more you're faced, the more you struggle, I think your self-care plan got to continue to grow. And I think that took a long time for me to grasp that what, again, serves you before what you use for self-care, you got to continue to expand upon that as well.
You have to. Now, how have you expand on that?
For me, I started doing trails. Like I learned that seemed like being out in nature and just being still and just being able to think helps me out instrumentally. I like spas and massages. So I just continue to make that like a regular thing, not a sporadic thing, like really committing to what actually made me feel good and making that a regular plan, not just whenever I get to it, but actually scheduling that in monthly, because that's an appointment that I can't miss.
Deliberate. Yes.
There's the word I'm looking for.
Yes. And ladies and gentlemen, I want y'all to remember this. You do know how muscles are built, right? See, look, some people think, you know, so some people say it's just in the kitchen. Yes, it is, right? Majority, right? 80% of it is what you eat. But then it's also about the resistance. But ladies and gentlemen, muscles are built and they grow through rest. See, because your muscles have to recover, right? Your muscles have to recover. So there's certain chemicals that can be activated that goes inside your muscles to help it to grow, right? So ladies and gentlemen, please don't believe that the grind doesn't stop, right? No, the intent isn't to stop, but the intent is to stay going to the point where it's methodical. Boom, boom, boom. But then when you need to take a step back, reevaluate, reassess, take that trip, take that walk, take that drive. For me, I jump in my little ride, I go. You know where I go, Monique?
Where you go?
I don't know.
You just drive, right? That's my other tactic. They put your music on, it just coast. Yeah, that's
you dig? Only thing I know, I'm going 45 minutes one way. You
it's
dig?
that.
And then just boop, come on back because I just need that. But ladies and gentlemen, I want you to touch in and tap into the things that you need for yourself. So, Miss Monique, I want to give you this minute to give you the opportunity to talk to our audience, let them know how they can find you, and a final word for them.
Well, you all can find me on Facebook, soaringwithoutlimits.com. I'm soaring.limits, my website, www.soaringwolimits.com, Instagram, s.o.l.e enterprise, LinkedIn, Monique Pearson, and my personal page, Monique Pearson as well. And the takeaway that I would like everyone to take from as far as that, you are stronger than you ever thought you could be. Do not sell yourself short. Today is the last day of making an excuse, making a limitation, and putting a plateau on where you can be. I just want you to take the chains off yourself so that you can be free to be all that you can be, because you are only limited by where you see yourself being able to go.
Yes. So thank you very much, Miss Monique, for joining us here on the Lions Den. We thank you.
Thanks for having me. I had a good time. This was good discussion.
Thank you. And that's what we do, ladies and gentlemen. And so my final word here is just like she said, hey, take those chains off. You dig what I'm saying? And we talk about resilient all the time, but surround yourself with individuals that understand what it means. Surround yourself with individuals that can help you out along the way, but not keep you there. You dig? Because there's some times when people are just there to listen to you whine about it. You dig? But they don't see or don't have the capacity to get you through that. Resilience is not easy. Being resilient is not easy for a reason. People say in the military, being resilient is being able to bounce back, but you got to hit bottom first, don't you? Don't you? Look, you don't bounce back from nothing, don't you? Do you? Yeah. That's what it's about. And then she said, hey, for real, be all that you can be. But hey, guess what? Aim high though. You understand? But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do this. We're going to talk to y'all soon. And shout out to everybody that was watching a great show. Thank you. Thanks, Satch, for being in. But look, y'all, we love y'all. We want to make sure y'all have a great rest of your weekend. We talk to y'all soon. Right on. Later.
Yeah.